Morning, everybody. Well, back to working on electrical again. These electrical boxes here, I have to use these on our exterior walls because they are shallow enough to fit in there. The exterior styrofoam is only 2 5/8 deep, but these are only 2 inches deep. So I cut me some little shims. I cut a piece of wood off of edge of a 1x. Cut me some shims and glued them on the back here. It helps space it out just a little bit farther so it gets up closer to the face of the styrofoam. And just got done putting one in the other room here. This is going to be the workout room over here, but eventually. But right now, just got done sticking one of those boxes in here. And let me get down here a second. It has the spacers behind it. You probably can't see that, but there, see there, there's spacers back there. And this is a tamper resistant outlet. Hate these things, but that's what they tell me I gotta use. See the little TR there? Upside down TR. Tamper resistant. Now I gotta grab me a cover. There we go. See these covers here? Since that styrofoam is so thin, we have to use the 4-inch square box and then put a single outlet cover on it instead of a double outlet cover. And that allows me enough room for the wiring to be done by code. So this is what we got going on. We kind of put that on there. Let me go get the tripod so I can set this up on there. Get this thing wired up. Now that wire leading to that box is actually not hooked into the main breaker panel yet. So it's hanging over there, ready to be hooked in. So there's no juice run to this box yet, even though the wire's in there. Then I also ran another wire. So from that box there, there's actually 2 wires. I'd cut a slot into styrofoam here. There's 2 pieces of Romex back in there. I don't know if you can tell or not. There you can. They go on up here, and I just cut some pieces of scrap styrofoam and shoved them back in there nice and tight to hold the Romex all the way back. Excuse me. Goes up and over and then back down over here and shoved back in this slot here. This one is not cut all the way down because I have a bunch of stuff here I have to move first, including our bed frame for the master bedroom and some other stuff. But there's going to be a box right down there. See that black outline there? There's going to be a box in there and another one down the way farther, down that way closer to the corner. And then there's going to be 2 along that wall over there. But those are going to come from the other direction, so they'll be on a separate circuit. Okay, guys, just so you can see what I'm talking about, these are the green ground screws. And inside of that box, there's a hump. From the back side, you can see it here. On the front side, it's right over in this corner. That's where one of these ground screws has to go. So your ground wire, you twist your ground wires together, slide a ground clamp over them, little ground copper sleeve, and crimp it over the twisted area. And then one of the long parts comes down, wraps around that green screw, and comes out to wrap around your outlet, your ground screw on your outlet. So that's what we're in the process of doing now. Just brought one of the extra boxes up so I can show you, because I can't show you down in there. Set this thing down a minute. And a little ground screw. Like I said, just tiny little screw. But that's very important. show you what's going on down here. So, oops. See up in there? I don't know if you can see how I've got that wire hooked down around there. So now I've got to put that little green screw right through this loop in this wire and into that hole down there. That's the game plan. Kind of through there, kind of. So, wish I could hold the camera right here while I'm doing it, but I cannot because I need both hands. Okay, guys, maybe you can see now. Okay, so we got the white screws on there. I didn't put tape on yet. The ground screw, the ground wire is hooked onto the ground screw here. Whoops, right here. It's also hooked on right back in there. See that? It's kind of hard to get it to focus back in there, but that ground screw hooks onto there. And they are twisted together back in there also with a ground crimp collar on there where it's twisted. And out here to the outlet. So now I can tape around this outlet, get it back in there with the cover plate, and be good to go. Sorry guys, I'm holding the camera with one hand, putting the screws in with the other hand, so a little slower and not quite as steady, whoops, as it should be. Oh. There we go. Guess I should have got my drill motor out with a little Phillips head bit in it, shouldn't I? Well, you get the idea. This one's just about done here. And then it'll be on to the next one. But I hear Judy out there. She's editing videos and doing other stuff out there. Taking care of the dogs, things like that. Okay guys, there it is, ready for drywall, which isn't going to happen for a while. I've got a couple more inspections I got to go through before we can start putting drywall up in all these places, but that will be operational as soon as I get the other end tied into the main breaker box. And because it's going into our main breaker box instead of one of the, there's a couple of secondary breaker boxes, one on the main floor and one on the loft, but down here in the basement is the main 200 amp breaker box that comes in from the meter. So I have to shut that down, which supplies electric throughout the whole house and down to the pole barns. So yeah, I'm gonna have to shut everything off in order to hook that in there just to be safe. Time to open this thing up so I can hook this wire in there, which feeds over there in the workout room where that temporarily there's gonna be a freezer plugged in over there. But I don't know, I'm gonna have to come in on this side up here, but since this side is still, or is already more full than this side, I may bring it down and over and down, but I wanna see where I wanna put my opening in the top of there, because I gotta put one of these little collars in there. You take one of the knockouts out of the top there, and then you put one of these little collars like this here in the top of the box. And you can see it has a clamp here that clamps the Romex in there. It has a nut back here. So you put this down in the hole with the screws facing out like that. And this goes up on the inside. Romex feeds down through here, and then you strip the Romex off. You leave it sticking down through the yellow coating sticking down through just a little bit, and then strip it off so you have just the 3 wires coming in, which go to 3 different places inside of the box. So we got to look in here and see what kind of room we got in there so I know which knockout I want to take out to put this in there. and what pathway I'm going to take to do it. Normally, I would shut this main breaker off before taking this cover off of there, which should be done. It's not safer that way, but I am going to remove this just long enough to get a peek in there. Once I get a peek in there and see what it's like for wires, how much stuff's in the way and everything, I'll put it back on there with just a screw or two to shut this off. So I'm not taking a chance of me slipping into anything while I'm shutting it off, because it does push real hard. So you wouldn't want to slip and hit something you're not supposed to. But we're going to peek in there first. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to set my screws right over there on top of that little side box. And the last screw. Okay, let's see what we got in there. Yeah, that's what I thought. This side is really full. So, I should probably bring it in, come across over here, and down and put my new 20 amp right there. I think that's what I'll plan on doing. So, I'll pop one of the knockouts out right over here. Okay, let's stick this cover back on there before I shut that power off. Babe, I'm about ready to shut the power off for a few minutes. There we go. Now it's safe for me to go ahead and shut the power off, and guess I got a couple little lights. These little lights here that I can turn on, and also got my headlamp here that I'll put on. That's the one I'm taking out. Now, get my tools out of there. Get my cover pulled. One more thing. It's going to go right here, so I'm going to bend this little tab out of the way there. That little tab. Okay, still gotta tighten my screws up, but guess what? Voila. Okay, now, I am not a professional electrician, guys. So always consult with one before you do any of this stuff. Like I said, I'm not a professional electrician, but hopefully you guys can realize that if you do your homework, you can do a lot of this stuff yourself, save some money, and hope you're enjoying the videos, man. If you are, give us a thumbs up. Send us a comment, especially if you're an electrician. I know you're probably laughing at me, but I do have a couple friends that are electricians, and if I get to spots that I'm not sure of, I do call them and ask them for advice, and I'm lucky enough to have them around to guide me. And but we'd love to have your comments. That's the gas-fired boiler for the hot water in the floor and the hot water for the domestic hot water that's trying to fire up right now. So anyway, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and tell your friends. Maybe some of them would like to subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel enough to where we can share this information with a whole lot of people and share our journey. We haven't showed any of the original videos that we took from when we started the house yet. We're going to start getting into some of those too, where we can show you, well, for one thing, Judy's hair and my mustache and beard were a whole lot darker back then. We started it 6 years ago, and after she went through her chemo treatments and stuff and lost a lot of hair, it all grew back in silver instead of dark, and she's allergic to hair dye. So that had something to do with it. And she said, hey, as long as I got to be gray, why don't you quit dyeing your mustache? And I thought, sure, why not? I can do with a couple of gray hairs. I mean, I'd been touching it up with Just for Men for years, and thought, yeah, so what? A couple gray ones here and there, who's going to care? And I grew out. I'm like, holy crap, what happened? But we're enjoying life. We're enjoying the journey working on the house together. She's doing an awesome job of editing the videos and filming part of it. I do most of the filming. She does all of the editing until she can teach me some of the editing someday. But like I said, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you're not. Tell your friends, and maybe some of them will like it too. Take care. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye now.